Good morning.
Afternoon, bro. What's going on?
I hear myself through you.
Got an echo?
Yeah, it's all good. What's up, man?
Man, staying busy. Market's going crazy right now. Green day. That's a good day.
Yeah, all because of ape.
No, definitely not participate.
Ape, ape.
No.
Ape
Are,
gonna
are,
make it.
are we diving in already, or is Mike popping on here? I wanted to wait to
I'd love
save the
for
heat for him.
Mike or Rob to hop on and share some of their passion. We'll see if they come back in a few minutes. Let's start with Bloom with some just highlight stuff before we get into the debate of the 2017 altcoin maxis fudding one of the best things to happen in years to crypto and be representative of everything that the future represents. But
Give me the
yeah,
details. What's going on with Bloom?
well, I actually want to say something about the comment. This is a great comment here. You know, the fact that it's a blue chip day, and it's not lost on me that the color of the token, the color of the ape coin, is a blue chip.
Hmm. They are Hey, nobody's going to say Yuga Labs is not master marketers. They surely are.
They're great.
Yeah.
And all right, I'll bring us back. We'll give Mike like 3 minutes, and then Mike Mike's not going to make it. Next week's going to be a really exciting week. I can say I'm really honored that we're doing a drop with the team from Bloom. We're actually doing 2 drops over the next 2 weeks with Bloom. They're a collective of artists that are amazing artists. Some of them have been featured on camera, some of them haven't. Some of them on Vogue Singapore. Some of them, their floor is 5 ETH on Super Rare. And they a lot of them weren't fans of Nifty Gateway for a while, and we've been critical of them, but we've stuck by our guns, and I believe that Nifty Gateway is one of the most important onboarding resources that we have to
Mhm.
bring both crypto and NFTs mainstream because of the fiat access. And we've been working with that team, and I'm just thankful that NFT Culture is going to present Bloom on Nifty Gateway next week. If you'd asked us when my first NFT was on Nifty Gateway, Rob's first NFT was on Nifty Gateway, and the fact now that we're doing a drop with artists on Nifty Gateway a
Mhm.
year later, and our friends and amazing artists, who would have thought, man? NFTs change lives. It's crazy.
Yeah, Nifty Gateways for sure come a long way. Their original interface, it's much. I mean, I think you go back and watch an old video. I was critical of them on stream, and it's very user friendly, and I agree 100%. It's a critical piece of infrastructure for growing the NFT space. It's my default for any, I say normie, if you will, that asks me about how do I get involved with NFTs. It's the first place I send them.
And it's the perfect place because you can buy an NFT on Nifty Gateway. You can keep it in
Mhm.
their custodial wallet. You can learn more about MetaMask, and then you can eventually choose to move it to your own MetaMask. Right? It's like if you think of people, not your keys, not your wallet.
Mhm.
Great argument. I agree with a lot of people that have those concerns,
Mhm.
but it's also like there are a lot of people that are comfortable with that, and the fact that it is custodial and it gives people time to experiment before they have to take the responsibility or before they're willing to take the responsibility of that digital ownership.
Mhm.
And so, every platform's not perfect, but I do think that from a perspective of onboarding, and if we think that there's a million wallets and blah 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 that are buying NFTs, if we think that we're going to get to 300 million and a billion and all those types of things, Nifty Gateway is a fantastic conduit to do it. That being said, Coinbase is probably going to be
We'll
great.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It wouldn't be a happy hour if I didn't mention Aku, right? Because I always have to shill my bags, and
Show your bags.
I mean, I have to do it. But one of the cool things about Aku is because it was basically a year long drop process. It was 10 chapters. They dropped 10 chapters across a year. Like you actually got to watch Nifty Gateway get better and better and better and better with each drop. And these are like high volume, high demand drops, like spikes in demand. These are the types of drops that really test the infrastructure and the quality of the platform itself. And it literally took until the 10th drop before Nifty Gateway, it was completely smooth. It was the smoothest open drop that I've been a part of. So, I mean, for me, I think Coinbase, even though it's awesome company, great, they're going to experience the same things when they go with NFTs. I think they'll have the same stumbling blocks. I think Nifty Gateway's got a really substantial lead and a big fan base right now. So,
yeah, I mean, like I love it. It's a great, and I'm comfortable on everything. Like I'll buy NFTs with fiat, I'll buy it with Ethereum, but the fact that it becomes interchangeable is just great. And like once again, I'm just honored that we get to be a part of it. We get to be a part of artists. We get to bring. Hopefully, we get to bring art to people that would normally be able to collect it. And one of the other things that I really want to focus on is like the team that the Bloom Collective that we're working with. Like their floors are once again they're incredible, and like they're going to be doing one of few collections. Hey, Mike, I'm finishing up my NFT in a Nifty Gateway Bloom talk real quick, but
Nice.
the team for the most part, they're going to be like one of 15s, so small collections, and most of them are going to be priced to like $250. And these are artists that have 1, 3, 5, 10 ETH floors on Super Rare, on Maker's Place, and so like what I love is like it's 5 and 5 great artists, and they're going to be coming on. And like this isn't shilling, sounds like shilling, but like when you see the art, like look at it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. But I'm honored, like, and I'm so incredibly thankful to Christian and the rest of the group. Like, these people I've come to call friends, and like, I'm just so thankful. You know what else is awesome? Most of them are going to go to NFT NYC, and they're going to come to our event.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome to hug them and laugh and let our collectors like meet like these great artists. Like Meta Guys, it was there last year. Blake Catherine was there last year. Too much lag. Like we're gonna have 10 times as many artists. I'm just so thankful. Like NFTs, once again, they change lives. It's crazy.
So we're doing another event then. Did y'all announce that?
No, I mean informally. We're throwing an event at NFT LA. We have an announcement that's something big's happening in Vancouver at or around the time of the biggest event in Vancouver that's going to happen this year. Swag, we'll get you the event dates. It'll probably be close to the first night. We're likely going to be doing it with Mad Pups again. But look, tune in. Like if anyone's going to be in LA, hit us up on the Discord. We're going to be throwing 2 private events and a closing event for NFT LA. So hit us up. We got a lot of stuff in the books. But let's start fighting. Let's take the gloves off.
Yeah, guys.
What are we fighting about?
Well, we're talking about APE Coin, man. It's hot. I mean, I saw your little snarky message in the group chat about you hold the good stuff. I know who that directed at, Mike.
Real quick, before we get there, my Rafik Anadols came in, my physicals, and I got them back from the framer. I'm not gonna go pull them up, but I'm like now I have to rethink my entire art strategy for the house, because like now, like if you'd asked me a year ago, I've always loved art. Everyone knows this. I've been doodling and drawing forever, but like I've got a Takashi Murakami, a Slime Sunday, and 3 physicals from Rafik Anadol. Like if you had asked me like what like a year ago, like, and Shodier, who's a fantastic artist, and Noe, like where do you put all this amazing art? We're gonna have to open an NFT gallery here in Dallas pretty soon.
Dead Ape Sushi, bro.
Yeah.
Dead Ape Sushi.
You're running out of wall space back there, bro.
Yeah, that's why we're going to open a gallery, an artist space.
Okay, an art space, perfect.
For artists to come and hang out and collaborate here in North Texas.
Is one of those Rafiks the Nifty Gateway one, or are those other Rafiks?
It's the 3 that I bought off Misa Art. It's if you bought all 3, it was on Flow, which Rob was like, like. Yeah, and he was right. But I also got 3 physical pieces from Rafik Anadol for $3,000 total that are going to be like with me forever. And I'm still going to get my physical from the Nifty Gateway drop.
That's what I'm waiting for because I like mine a lot, but we'll see.
What's the story with that, Mike? Have you been following that at all when the physical is actually supposed to come in?
Dude, I'm waiting on my physical. Politics is bullshit from people. That's gonna be like I'm gonna hang it from a string and it's gonna just be right behind my head. I'm gonna just have it.
He's gonna put one of those beer caps on top of his Rangers hat with his politics is bullshit.
Exactly. I'm gonna make a hat out of it. I'm gonna have to have a wire coming down, or I'm gonna get a battery pack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real excited about that.
Going to that point is like real quick. We keep I'm waiting on my I got a physical coming from Young and Sick. On that, like, we're curating a gallery next month in Vancouver at an event that I can't talk about yet. Swag, dude. I don't know if you guys know this, but Michael Villery, in honor of, I'm probably gonna get us canceled. In honor of the Nifty Gateway drop that we're doing with Bloom next week, it's time to tell a story.
Wow. Mike's getting real.
No, I'm not telling any story.
I'm going to tell the story.
No, don't
Can I? No.
Well, through fate, luck, skill, and everything in between, Mike owns number 1 of 100 of Politics is Bullshit by Beeple.
Mostly luck.
And skill.
Luck and good timing.
And I can say that that was a good entry point into meeting part of the Nifty Gateway team and helping them with some bug fixes and the future of everything. And I love NFTs.
Like, you better cut him off.
Mike's
going to reveal a lot of details.
Mike's gonna. All right, bye.
He canceled himself. Canceled.
All right, Mike.
I can't wait till I get my politics is bullshit. And I was thinking about, because I'm in this special collectors, Beeple owners Discord, and so I was going to try to see if I could lobby the Beeple crew and be like, hey, look, I'm on Nifty Culture. I'm not asking for any too much special treatment, but can I at least get like one of the first ones since I am number 1 at the end of the day? That way we can do like an unboxing of because awesome. Beeple's physicals are always, he has the best physicals. His physicals are by far the best of any art supplier. So I bet in Politics is Bullshit is a special one because it's animated. So I don't even know how badass this physical is going to be. And he's been working on it for a while. Like, he's super proud of it. He said it's going to be, in the Discord, he said it's going to be freaking badass. So I can't wait. So as soon as I get it, we'll have a video just dedicated to me unboxing.
We'll have an unboxing. We'll bust out the good cameras.
That's awesome.
We should.
I'll come over to your house with my Sony and do the.
Or I could just go to your house.
240 frames a second.
It'd be terrible if I got one that was like busted in transit or something. We do this unboxing and it's all smashed up.
You know what we should do? Is beg, plead, steal, and borrow, and fly out to North Carolina or South Carolina and find a way to unbox it with Beeple.
That would be sweet.
Dude, that'd be really sweet. Is he only doing this for Politics is Bullshit?
No, he does it for all of them. Cody has Beeple's hair. Cody Martin, the owner of Martin House Brewing. Shout out to Cody, one of our fraternity brothers and best friends. He's got like multiple Beeple like physicals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of the people since that first drop have gotten physicals. Good. But he's now retroactively doing this one, which I think is awesome.
All right, let's segue. And I know we got to be cognizant of time. And I love Beeple, and I'm honored that this gallery in Vancouver at this mega event is going to have Politics is Bullshit number 1 as one of the key pieces, as well as some apes and some punks, and the Mad Pups are going to help curate, and so is Fan 3. It's going to be awesome. But I had this crazy idea, and I didn't do it. So I got airdropped. I haven't claimed it yet.
Okay.
APE Coin. That's what everyone wants to hear about. We're seeing the more we talk about people, the quicker people are stopping watching because all they want to talk about is ApeCoin.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this crazy idea for like 2 seconds, and I was like, no, that's crazy. That's dumb. And I was like, into the ether.
Mm.
Do you swap ApeCoin for Beeple into the ether? Why or why not? And then John's going to go on his tangent, and then we're going to disagree with him for 20 minutes.
I would definitely swap. I'd probably turn around and buy it. I haven't checked the price lately, but then you could probably pick up that same amount of APE coins that you sold for at a much cheaper price. That's my thought. So then you end up with the same amount of APE coins and a free into the ether. Mike,
I would personally do it too. However, I think the timing right now isn't good because everything's pumped right now because of ApeCoin and just the Bake roadmap. I think that brought life.
John disagrees that it's going up because of Ape.
What do you think it's going up because of?
You talking about the market? You think the market is going up because of ApeCoin?
The Nifty market, yes.
I think the Nifty market's going up because the overall market's going up. We've gone back bullish again. I think.
Curious timing.
No.
You're arguing for me right there, man.
You're saying that like mass media focusing on a massive influx of liquidity in a market isn't going to bring up this highly volatile, speculative new asset class?
Here's the thing: we should be going down still because of rising interest rates. So the market's going against the pressure.
Steve says you flooded him out of ApeCoin.
Yeah, so I'm gonna.
Steve should have called me.
Hey, listen, I'll go.
Steve didn't call me for financial advice.
Listen, I'll put it out there right now. I mean, I thought for sure, and it looks like in the short term I was wrong, and I'll claim that. I'll own it. That ApeCoin should be a 50-cent coin. It should have a 500 million fully diluted
500
value.
million.
Don't say it. You
got to be way more than that.
No. There's what is it? A billion coins. They minted a billion of these things.
Okay.
So it would be 500 million market cap. So right now, at the current price, what it you can check it on CoinGecko. I think at what's that? $13. It's got a 13 billion fully diluted value.
What's the value? What's the market cap of Cardano right now?
I heard somebody say the same thing about that, Mike, and that is not the same. It cannot be the same. In fact,
why?
In fact, I sat in a Twitter space yesterday because I wanted to know what the apes were thinking about this token. So I sat in a Twitter space yesterday that was titled Ape Coin, and it was filled with apes and other NFT pictures, doodles, and I mean, it was just a packed house.
Why you got to bring doodles into this?
Hey, I'm just saying who was present. There was a lot of people present. There was some Meebits present. It was packed. And I heard nothing that did not change my conviction that a short on ApeCoin, now is the time to short.
Please tell me you're not shorting ApeCoin.
No.
Please don't short ApeCoin, John.
I don't think you can. I mean,
good.
On FTX, you can.
Can you? FTX has a market to short?
Yeah, I believe so. I could be wrong, but
you want to hear my bull case, John?
I do. I want to hear it because full disclosure, I went on to several decentralized derivatives exchanges, and I begged the devs to open a short market for ApeCoin, and I would be one of their biggest customers.
Real quick. How is ApeCoin less valuable than Shiba Inu right now?
I mean,
yes, good question. I want to hear the answer to that question.
Because Shiba Inu is like 12.5 billion right now, fully diluted.
Well, I mean,
Dogecoin 15.7.
Listen, I can't answer that because, to be honest, both of them are way overvalued.
Binance 17, Polkadot 20, Wrapped Bitcoin 11. Polygon should be higher, honestly, 10 billion.
Wrapped Bitcoin is just a proxy for Bitcoins. That would make sense. Polygon should be higher.
So I will answer this because I heard this exact. I had the same two likenesses put out in the Twitter space, it was Shiba Inu and Cardano. And, you know, I'm not going to talk about Cardano, but I will say, if you're defending the value of your token by comparing it to a meme, it's time to short.
Good point.
No, I'll defend it just based on straight up value of the token.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I want to hear the bull case, Mike, and then, you know, I'm not. Yeah.
Real quick, can I, Matt, I just say real quick? I actually agree with Stan here. Like, I thought, like, I'm shocked we're trading this high. Like, in full disclosure, full transparency, not financial advice or anything else, but like, in my mind, and like, if you think about a trader, like if you use logic, like the logic would be, if my belief system is that APE should be at or around $4 or $5, not 50 cents. Then I should be selling right now so that I can rebuy later, right? Like, I get that, right? But luckily enough, like, my APE is like gifted to me, and like APE at $4 to me makes a lot of sense. And I can go into why APE at $4 to me makes a lot of sense, $4 or $5. Like, for me personally, just very, very briefly, if we think about Decentraland, we think about Sandbox, we think about the Metaverse, we think about these representative pieces. I think that what you think that the Bored Ape Yacht Club and Yuga Labs has earned in terms of what they've done to bring it mainstream, the attention it gets, the celebrity clout that comes with it, the transaction ability, the fact that there's already a play to earn game that came out last night that uses APE, the fact that another is on the horizon. Before the end of the month, we're going to have land, and we're going to have more land in the future. There's enough there to say that APE in and of itself as a token is probably in that $3 to $5 billion total diluted, you know, value range. So I would put it, you know, or at that point. 50 cents doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
So let me ask you,
let me give you here.
Mike.
Okay, go ahead.
One more question before you dive in here. What price, if you hadn't been airdropped APE, would you be buying at?
Between $4 and $5, I am buying weekly buys.
And what price would you buy sand at?
Sand?
With a fully flushed out finished product like sand versus where APE is at, kind of a
every single day I message Mike and say we should buy sand. Not every day, but at least once a week, I'm in the point where like we should be buying sand.
Okay.
Like, right. But I also think that like there's a big difference, and Mike needs to provide his opinions on this. But I believe that the metaverse and the attention that the metaverse gets from like everyone who's invested in the apes and who inherently sees the value from it. You know, if you bought and kept your first ape and didn't trade anything else, just like your return on investment, if you bought it in the first week, even like at 0.5, is so insane. And all the, like, even if you think about like celebrities to be like, hey, like they paid, you know, like everyone's breaking even on this thing with what their drop is. And so I think that there's just in the future upside from that. And you also think about like, once again, then I'm going to shut up, Mike, I promise, is I think that what APE is doing is it's a metaverse, and it's a marketplace, and it's a PFP, and it's all these things. And so when we think about what Web3 represents, and we start thinking about what the future of digital ownership represents, APE has a very strong case. I'm not saying it should be the best coin in the world or anything, but I think like somewhere between 15 and 50, like, makes total sense to me. I think 50 cents is absurd.
Okay. Mike's going to dive into his bull thesis right here. I'm going to give him the floor, but I want to make sure that I want to hear how APE captures value in this bull thesis. Floor's yours.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'll answer your question, but I have 3 points, which Malachi mostly stepped on, which is cool.
I always step on your points. I'm sorry.
No, but that's good. I feel like it reinforces, because I wrote them down here, so I'm just going to read you what I wrote down, and they'll just happen to match some of what you said. Utmost is, I think, the utility of APE Coin. Now, the key detail is the utility of the APE Coin is unknown, or it's not fully known, or the market doesn't understand it until the singularity collapses and Metaverse is released, and they tell you exactly what APE Coin is going to be used for in the Metaverse, and we get to experience it ourselves. So we're in that period right now where it's like these mint drops where it's unrevealed art. And so we're going to be ballooned. The question is whether the balloon is too small or whether the balloon is too big. I think the balloon is too small, because I think once people realize, I think once we actually have a metaverse that's compelling, if the APE metaverse ends up being compelling, it's going to be an extremely powerful experience, and everybody's going to want to be a part of it, at least in a small way. So if APE Coin has value in that metaverse experience, then that's going to be a huge driver for its value. Okay, so that's kind of the utility angle, which Malachi kind of touched on. Another thing Malachi kind of touched on, but I'm going to say it differently, is keep in mind that APE is different than ENS, and APE is different than Looks, and APE is different than SOS. Those were airdrops to people, but it just airdropped to a bunch of people who weren't already holding something worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and not selling. So keep in mind that APE people, the people getting those airdrops, are natural holders of extremely valuable things. I might be holding an APE worth $10 million and I just got $80,000 of tokens. I'm not going to sell that. I might be holding, and everybody's holding an APE worth at least $250,000. And what
so
point
crazy.
is it to sell? I know. So it's there. You're giving an asset to wealthy people. Wealthy people don't just dump their assets; they hold on to them and let them appreciate. So you're giving this asset to people who don't need to sell, and that's a difference between this and ENS and Looks and SOS and all those other things. So I think the APE people are natural holders. So I think that means the supply is going to be more constrained than a lot of these other ones where the price crashed. And then my third point is kind of plays off of that first point of utility, is the APE ecosystem has a lot of hype, and it's always been really expensive. The cheapest entry was Kennel Club, which is like a third class citizen in the ecosystem. So what have they done now? They've made a way for you to buy into the APE ecosystem a little. So all these small fish can put in $1,000 into APE Coin. And so those people are going to be putting a lot of buying pressure on the token. And so, and other tokens haven't had that, because they're just like basically empty promises. I mean, ENS is honestly, and I'm a bag holder on ENS personally, and it's just kind of gone down a little bit, but I believe in ENS, so I'm just going to hold it just to support the project.
Except for the founder. I hate the founder.
Oh, is he? Oh, that sucks. Let's not get into that. I don't know the details, so I don't.
I'll fill you in. You've been heads down coding.
Yeah. Anyway, so I won't talk about that anymore until I know the details. But so I think all these people who like the concept, like the APE, they want to be part of the APE ecosystem. Now they have a way to get in a little bit, and it's just a ladder. It's just a stepping stone to them getting in more. And the more eyes and the more bodies you get into the ecosystem, the more valuable the ecosystem as a whole is. So it's an on-ramp. So what they've done is they've created an entry-level on-ramp into the ecosystem. And if the ecosystem increases in value, that's why we've seen a lot of the projects, they kind of dropped. It's kind of like you issue the dividend, but then the stock keeps going up afterwards. Stocks always drop right when they release the dividend, but if it's a growth stock that's still continuing to create new value, it just goes back up. So I think we got the dividend. It's just going to keep going back up. And then that natural momentum of the ecosystem as a whole will just pull APE Coin up with it. Now, there's always the question of, is $7 or $8 too high? That's where you start looking at those other tokens and you kind of compare what is the subjective or what is the objective utility of this token versus what is the objective utility of these other tokens. And you can get into like a fool's game because some of those are just artificially pumped and some of them are making huge promises. But I think at the end of the day, you can't deny utility, and this coin potentially could have one of the best utilities of all the coins, which is it's the currency of the best metaverse.
Can I add to that, John? And Mike, very eloquent. John, do you mind if I add to that before you respond?
Go ahead.
So this is my hypothesis, and I haven't shared this probably with anybody yet. why would Yuga Labs acquire the punks and the Meebits?
Why would they?
Specifically?
Yes, I want to hear your hypothesis.
So let's just say for a second, they've announced there's going to be 200,000 parcels of land sold. If you were to give a free airdrop of a parcel of land to mutants, apes, Meebits, and punks, now all of a sudden you've created for free the top two without very much debate. The metaverse that holders of that are most likely to spend time in, as well as the direct derivative of those projects, which is like 65,000 of 200,000, right? Now, before that, you front run it by saying, hey, we're going to create the currency that is going to transact in this metaverse ahead of time. And now you have the premier assets, arguably four of the top 10 NFT projects in the metaverse. Now the rumors of cryptodes and everything else. And now you know for a fact that they set up the APE Coin separately from Yuga Labs, right? That's its own separate thing. And now like the fundraise rumors and all that stuff of the value that's going to come back to Yuga Labs through the land sales of the other 120 to 140,000 land sales. You have already created the most premium exclusive metaverse that, like, why would an ape or a punk or a mutant or a Meebit spend time in Decentraland or Sandbox when they have their own land that was given to them for free? And by the way, they were airdropped the currency to interact on that land. And you already have utility in 2 games, the racing game and all this other stuff that's already planned. Like, it's 40 chess. I'm not saying the $13, $14, $15 valuation it has right now. I think it pulls back. I think it pulls back to 4 or 5. But 50 cents is tough for me. But John, I'm curious what your thoughts are. Like, because like there's the first principles thinking is like, we sound crazy. The metaverse is like the metaverse. But then you also listen to Adobe, you listen to Microsoft, you listen to Salesforce.com, you listen to Facebook or Meta, you listen to like everyone else who's embracing all of these ideas. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is a premium place with premium product with a bunch of people. Mike's points were valid about the wealth that exists in there. I'm just curious, you know, what do you think?
So first of all, I want to apologize to our mutual friend, Steve. He bought some APE, and I told him my personal opinion was I was looking to short it. And so he ended up selling out at Moon. So I want to apologize to Steve.
I want Steve to apologize to both of us for not texting me or Mike.
Well, you know why he texted me. Come on, you know. But seriously though, I believe that Yuga Labs could build a metaverse experience. Oh, by the way, before I go there, Mike, your second point, 100%. So when I told Steve that I would look to short it, one of the things I didn't consider was the fact that this airdrop went to people that held a picture of a monkey all the way up to $300,000. And so if these people believe the picture of a monkey is worth $300,000, like this is like the ultimate group of people to believe the coin is going to $1 trillion. Like,
it's true.
Seriously. And so I did not factor that into my evaluation of the token. Most of the time when you have an airdrop, most people are looking at, okay, what's the valuation of the token? How is it going to extract value? How's the protocol going to make money? And so they do the calculations, figure out what it can make, and then they sell or they hold based on that. I mean, at least that's what I do. But with this token, they are essentially doing like a super NFT drop where you have no idea what it's going to look like or what it's going to do, but everybody's holding it and it's at $15 billion. I mean, it's a complete absurdity to do it, but they have the perfect audience for the absurdity. It's people that held apes to 300K and they're still not selling. So that was I told Steve, that was my big miscalculation, is I didn't realize who they actually dropped all the supply to. It's people that are willing to hold through absurdity. And so here's my argument against the coin. I don't like the fact that their actual value proposition is very unclear. And I joined that space and I listened to people talk that got the drop, and people that are buying it, nobody really knows. They just think Yuga Labs is going to take them to the moon.
But there's 30,000 people that got that drop.
I
Right.
know.
And so, like, are you listening to the people that did the drop, or are you listening to one of their, like, if you have 30,000 opinions, like
no,
not
no.
all
I
of
mean,
them are going
it was a Twitter space. There was like 6 or 7 people talking, and they were all talking about, oh, Cardano, this thing should go up. Cardano's priced here, and Shiba Inu was priced here. It should go up, and Yuga Labs is the best. And I'm not arguing Yuga Labs isn't talented. What my beef is that sometimes you're ahead of good ideas. So like best case scenario, like they build this metaverse out.
like Larva Labs.
Yeah. For example, or like you have like a protocol that you're really excited about. Man, you see it, the future is there, and like the valuation is going to be worth $15 billion. So you buy. The problem with this is that it's already worth $15 billion. So even if they build and deliver, it's going to be very much like Cardano, where it had this massive spike and everybody held, and then all of a sudden they build and everybody looks around and says, okay, like I don't like the fact that a lot that goes on in the NFT space is like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Like it's all about build up, and Yuga has like mastered that. Like, what are we going to do next? Like very secretive. There's going to be something. It's going to make it valuable. But even if they do build the metaverse, I want to understand, how is the token relevant, right? Because you can transact through switch transaction. How are they going to value accrue to the token? They haven't said that. Why does this token, like the metaverse land? I get that it's exclusive. It's a piece of land, right? If you want to participate, it's a status symbol in the metaverse. What is this token doing that's giving it value? Like,
yeah,
that's my main question. There's no definition, and yet here it sits at $15 billion. And if they don't deliver on something incredible, like holding the token grants you gives you land freely, like you have to hold the token. Like it can't just be like a way to transact inside the metaverse, inside their metaverse, because it's already got a higher valuation than some of the best stable coins out there, and those transact throughout the entire blockchain ecosystem. So it's like I believe the APE token has value. The reason I'm looking to short it is because I think the value's off. And I've done this a bunch with tokens where I'm like super passionate. I'm like, damn, this project is awesome. And I hold it and I get completely blinded. And I'm like, and then when it dumps and it dumps down to $1, I think to myself, man, I wish I would have sold it. And then I could just bought back more of it. But I was blinded, and I just ignored the reality that there's absolutely no value right now. And so, yeah,
I disagree. Like very quickly, like and like I'll shut up in a second, but like I agree with you. Like the speculation here is like you're spot on. Like one of the things that frustrates the hell out of me is that like the latest NFT projects that are coming out is like they figured out how to price the market, they figured out how to game the system, they figured out how to generate that, where it's like, back in the day, we were hovering between 0.04 and 0.1 for minting an NFT. And now like with regularity, people are minting NFTs with like 0.75 to 1.25, right? Or 2 in certain instances. And so what that does is it means that all the capital is going to the creators, right? And so like the ability to speculate and create those price gains is being removed from the process. And from an NFT perspective, that's broken, right? Like it's a new asset class. It's highly volatile. There's all these flaws and everything else. With NFTs, going back to Mike's point, it's like you're airdropping or claiming this with people who are holding pictures of monkeys, and some of their wives say hold forever, and some of their wives say I'm going to leave you. Like, why would you be silly like this? Like, and like everything in between. And then it's like, oh, cool. Like now you can pay your taxes because right before April 15th, you got this APE coin. And then like you start thinking to yourself,
I didn't factor that in.
Like, what's going on here? And then you start thinking about everything else. But like when you start thinking about like kind of what the future is, like very small total market value and like the current liquidity of the market, right? The supply and demand. Like you also have your APE loyalists that are also those JPEG holders that are also like, this thing's going to 50, this thing's going to be number 3 on the charts, that are also buying it, right? So like there's two things. Is like simultaneously. And there's also the ETH rich people who made a bunch of money on the apes that now have a bunch of money to buy APE Coin that are willing to do this. So I agree with you completely that there's a lot of speculation. My gut keeps going back to like I think it's slightly overvalued right now, but I'd also say like it would be absurd for me to say it's worth less than either of the Metaverse tokens, which are both top 25, 50 tokens that exist today. Like I think in the future it could be a top 10, top 5 token. I think like there is a real possibility that in the metaverse of the future, like this is quintessential based on the fact that so much money had gone into it ahead of time, and the owners of the token, and like the celebrities that own apes and everything else. Like this is premier, this is premium, this is the Ritz Carlton of the metaverse, right? It's like you can go stay in a Motel 6, pay $50 a month a night, but you can also pay $1,000 a night, and both exist, right? Like super wealthy, like all those yachts that are being seized right now with what's going on. And I can't wait for the announcement that's coming next week with something that we're doing with the project that's going to support Ukraine. But you know, like the different areas of all this is really hard to distinguish between.
Yeah, I don't doubt that Yuga Labs can build a wonderful metaverse. I think that they've proven that they are fantastic at generating loyal and engaged community. I just question the price of a token with ambiguous properties sitting at $15 billion, fully diluted value. And somebody made the question about circulating supply. I don't care about that. I know there's this, I know it does matter with short-term price, right? As Mike mentioned, a lot of the holders of this token aren't selling because what I described earlier. And so the available supply matters, so that, you know, if there's a supply squeeze, the price tends to climb like it did, but that's also reflexive. It goes the other way as well. It can sell just as quickly down. And, you know, so I need a clear understanding of what role this token is going to play, because fully diluted value matters. In Twitter, if you follow people, they try to convince you that, oh, that you shouldn't consider that, but that's just Twitter. That's just what they call it. It's a psychological game that they play on people that don't really understand how to value what's out there. So don't fall for that. If you hear that on Twitter, that's
not financial advice.
Yeah, that's not financial advice, but that's them basically just trying to sucker you into buying. It's only important for short-term price movements. It doesn't. If you're looking,
but we're 48 hours into like you could argue that everything that's going on right now is short-term price movements, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's great for short-term, right? I miscalculated the short-term movements. Now maybe who knows? I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
You made some really good points. I mean, I appreciate all your points. I think the biggest reason why you're wrong is because APE Coin is listed on Coinbase. And so all the knuckleheads on Coinbase are going to be jumping into this bad boy. And that's probably part of what's going on. You can just, you know, invest your $25 a month that you put into Ethereum or whatever weird ass coin that you normally put your money into. You can just switch it over to APE Coin now. Instead of Shiba, why would you put money into Shiba Inu when you can put money into APE Coin?
Yep. I can't argue with that. I mean,
it's like a meme coin, except it actually has a potential payoff. At least it has a potential payoff.
Yeah.
Okay. All that being said, there is something tangible that's valuable that is already announced about APE Coin, and I'm such a hype man right now. First off, let me just say it one more time. This isn't financial advice, and I'm a bag holder. I obviously own apes and APE Coin, so don't trust what I say. Anyway, it's a governance token, which a lot of times they try to separate out governance token from the actual economy token. So I'm not sure if they're going to be doing that or not, but that might be a little bit of a wrench. But I did read through a lot of the proposals. I read through 4 or 5 of the proposals that are on the governance forum, and they're really solid proposals. Like they're really well written and well thought out. They're talking about staking approaches and lots of other stuff. So like just like Ethereum is the best token, the best coin, the best platform because it has the best builder community associated with it and the biggest builder community. APE is going to rapidly suck in, I think, a lot of builders. And now that they've kind of, I would say, you kind of made a little bit of a point about this, about you kind of outgrow the, I don't remember exactly what you said, but you can get bigger than your place or your station or whatever. And that kind of happened with, we talked about that happened with Larva Labs. The Bored Ape team, every day that goes by, I worry a little bit about their ability to execute because expectations are so high, and they are just some regular people who started a token at the end of the day. Like, they're a little special because but they also got a lot lucky. So, but the fact that they're making moves that are increasing their bandwidth, I think is really impressive and indicative of it being a solid project. And I think that this governance aspect, where they're now decentralizing the building and the community development, but in a way that makes it a formal part of the community, I think is, I don't know, has there been a DAO on the scale of this where there's as much money and as much people behind the DAO as APE Coin? Most DAOs are probably like 20 or 30 active people total, I would guess, or less. They're mostly probably very small.
No, I mean, there's some bigger ones. I don't know how many people are in the APE DAO. I mean, was the coin entitles you to be part of the DAO? I mean, but there's no voting right now. There's nothing. I mean, what are you doing? Like, there's
no voting yet, just because they haven't pushed any of the proposals to vote, but the proposals are out there and you can vote on them, and people are like teeing up these proposals.
So what I've seen for most of these governance tokens, if that's what this strictly is at the moment, all they do is sell off over time.
I would expect that if it remains a purely governance token, then there is a good chance.
I think it's described as a governance token, but the fact that the day of a game incorporates like the ability to do play to earn and everything else is to say, like, there's how do they navigate the landscape that exists? So I do think part of it is governance, but I also think there's going to be utility. I do, if you guys don't mind, like we only have a couple minutes left because we have to end in the next 5 minutes.
Now, can I just put a thought out there really
absolutely.
quickly? I'm sorry. I mean, I think the best case scenario is this becomes some sort of transactable currency in their metaverse. And
100%.
That's Mike's bull case there. If it's just for voting, I think this thing just tanks to nothing. But
it won't tank to nothing.
If I'm just,
but it'll deflate a lot.
It'll deflate a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if this,
it's everything from like buying drinks in Miami, like everything. Like, sorry, go on.
Okay, so I just want to make kind of like a comparison here. There are so many different stable coins that exist on the blockchain, and there's lots and lots, and it's very hard to accrue value. And the only way they accrue value is if people use them. And the amount of usage really drives the value that associated with the stablecoin. If this thing is actually a currency to transact, then I think you're going to be limited to the size of the metaverse that they can build, the people that participate. And so you're already at 15 billion, you're already at a lot of usage relative to what you see from other stable coins out there. It's just something to consider. I don't want to, I kind of do. I want to open a short and fud this thing, but
I want to just let me, and I agree with you. It should be 4 or 5 right now. But my point is that like it's the premium metaverse, right? Like every next NFT project is going to want to come in, right? Yuga Labs they also signal to the market that they're not unwilling to acquire other projects that can be a part of that metaverse. So, do they acquire, probably not World of Women if they're going to Disney and everything else? Like there's a lot of stuff that can happen that now we have the premium thing with 4 of the top projects that are going to be in this one metaverse. And by the way, the de facto coin for this premium metaverse, arguably 4 of the top 10 projects of all time, let's say Doodle's partner. Like there's so much potential here that it could be the runaway winner of Web3. It could not. And like holding it 14, if it goes to 50 cents, like, yeah, but I'm in a different position. I was like, if I claim it, I get it, right? Like, I think around 4 or 5, not financial advice. Like that would have been where I would have bought. I do want to spend, like, we're out of time on this. We should do another one this weekend. But like Saul Goodman did ask a question about the 22 roadmap, right? And this is a common question. Is like, we do have a roadmap. We're committed. We're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We're working on some stuff that y'all are going to be proud of to be NFT culture token holders of. That are going to be announced soon. It's not immediate value to you, but it's a cause that hopefully is valuable to most. We've got the Nifty Gateway drop that we're doing with Bloom next week. We're going to be doing more drops on Nifty Gateway in the future that have benefit for token holders. We're doing the merch drop within the next month or two, max. We're having more IRL events. And we do have phase 2 of the token that's going to reward everyone who's done the token, who has a merge, and all of the rarities that are coming. So yeah, like Saul Goodman, thank you for your comments. We're committed to this. There's a lot of projects that disappear, and I just, I'm passionate today. I'm strong in my conviction. We're here. I'm day in, day out on the Discord, on the website, and everything else. We're not going anywhere, and I'm not going to rest until whatever value we can offer the people that did buy that community token to be a part of our community feel that they got value out of that community. So I appreciate your comments, Saul.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just add, I hinted about this in the Discord. If you want to know what Nifty Culture is working on, I don't talk too much, but I'll definitely keep people updated when I have stuff to share. We're working on a Ukraine charitable project right now, a project that benefits Ukraine. As part of that project, I need to do like a mainnet, like hardening test. And so I thought, well, I could do this on Rinkeby and it could just be meaningless. We could get people to use Rinkeby, which is pretty rare, or I could just put it out on mainnet, which is that's a lot of money that we have to pay to get that contract out on mainnet. And then let people, use it on mainnet for a very cheap cost, because we're doing basically a real big project, and we're doing a small project just for Nifty Culture. So I'm going to be launching that in the next couple of days. I'll put information about it in the Discord. And it's the point of it is 100% of the proceeds go to the Ukraine, some wallets that I found that are reliable wallets to distribute funds for Ukraine charities. So 100% of the funds go to that. We don't get any money for this, but it will help us stress test some of our components behind the scenes that we're using in this much larger scale drop that's going to have a really big impact. So I'm going to announce that sometime this weekend. So if people are in the Discord and see my announcement, if it's going to be priced at 0.001, so it's only going to be like $2 per token. Of course, you have to pay gas, but
it's ERC 721A.
It's cheap. The aggregation of all that money will still be like many thousands of dollars that we can send to Ukraine, these Ukraine foundations. So it'll be a collective effort of the cult to kind of help Ukraine, and it'll also help Nifty Culture make sure all of our components are battle hardened for this much larger, much more impactful drop. So be on the lookout for that in our Discord. I think everybody's wants to know how they can help. So you're basically kind of being like a live QA for components that are going to make a big impact. So think about it that way. If you, and it's only $2 or 0.001 ETH to get it, and you get a really cool piece of artwork that I did. I took our Nifty Culture Justice and I made a Ukraine version of it. So it'll be a cool little artwork, purely just to help us be successful in this larger project.
And I can't wait for y'all to find out the artist that's helping do. Well, it's his project. It's not our project. We're helping them.
We're helping them.
When we're honored to just have been a part of what they're going to be doing for Ukraine. And I think everyone that has an NFT culture token, whether they bought high or low, are going to be proud that they're helping to deliver on this. And this is going to empower us to do a lot more in the future. And, some of the stuff that we're doing, I wish I could give all the details on the roadmap and everything else, but Mike is exactly right. And, we'll put it in general as well. So even if you don't own an NFT culture token, please take a look at it and tell your friends.
Closing thoughts, Mal. Can I leave a closing thought here? You mind?
As long as it's not about APE Coin.
No, it is about APE Coin. I'm sorry, but more in general about responsible investing in just how you interface with friends and family. I think Vitalik Buterin recently did a interview with Times where he talked about his concern with specifically the NFT space and a lot of liquidity that's being sucked up because let's face it, it's a lot of
they're all designed to remove you from your ETH or your money.
Yes, and
100%.
it's basically gambling, and that's what Vitalik had indicated. There's basically gambling what's happening with these NFTs. Knowingly or unknowingly, some people come in and they might hope to make a lot of money, and it's going to turn them away from using the blockchain for more, I guess, humanitarian purposes other than to enrich a few marketeers. So I'm not saying the NFT space is all bad, but there's a lot of projects that are suspect, and it's worth us all when we tell people to come into the space. Let's guide them and share critical thought on how things are being valued and where they go forward. I know Malachi talks about this a lot, but with Vitalik, it's even caught his ire, and he rarely talks about this kind of stuff. So,
no, I agree, and I just put it in the comments. We just wrote a blog post not too long ago on February 22nd, so almost a month ago, of like 8 NFT red flags to avoid, right? And we should be doing this weekly. We should do a weekly segment of like, hey, this is red flag day, like just to remind people, or education for onboarding, but like anonymous teams, fake followers, expensive or free mints, limited art on the web page, copy paste web pages, lax innovation, toxicity, derivatives, etc. Like, we're trying to help guide people to do this, but we could be doing a lot better to continuously promote it because there is a lot of risk, and 99.99999% of projects are designed like they're going to fail, and 99.99999% of projects are designed to remove you from your ETH. That's it. Most of these projects are cash grabs. And the goal should be like, there's few projects that look great, and there's great projects that are designed to remove you from your ETH. They're trying to fund their vision and everything else. And we should, John, that's a really good point. Is like, I think we do a good job at it. We don't do a great job at it. And I think we should be more proactive to have it's teaching people how to fish versus giving them a fish, right? Like, hey, here's the alpha, buy this, versus saying like, hey, here's how to read the market to make your own choices. And we're trying to do that. Like, is it storytelling? Is it an established artist? I say that over and over. But I do think that as we talk about it is, if we talk, and this is one of the reasons that we shifted from the alpha and kind of did a hard reset for people that have stuck with us for a long time, is that we needed to kind of, look at what our values were and why we started NFT culture in the first place. And then it's also to say like, okay, like if we're going to do this, let's do it right. And let's talk about like the industry, and let's try and guide versus like, hey, here's this project, they're great. And then you also think about like, how can you say like, if I'm pumping a bag that I know is going to go down tomorrow, but I own the bag and now the bag's worth more. Now tomorrow, someone's first NFT is something that they bought from us. There's guilt, and they may never buy an NFT again, and they're going to tell their friends they got burned and family, or it may affect them if they are a gambler and those things. And so we're not perfect. We don't always do everything the exact right way. But we're trying to get better consistently. And so that's why you're seeing a massive change in tone. That's why you're seeing more art focus. But I do think we should be, as NFT culture, we should be the stewards and ambassadors of education and growth. So I think you made a fantastic point there. We're thinking about it, but we need to do more. We need to do more quickly, especially with how quickly people are being onboarded.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and be safe out there. Short Ape. Adios.
You just went completely against everything I just talked about. I can't believe it. I love you. Bye, everyone.